Hi, it's been a while since I've talked to you. We're now in just over a year from when I was diagnosed with Guillain Barré. So we're just 1 year anniversary and plus a few weeks. After the last video, there wasn't much happening different for my treatments or for my recovery. I was gradually getting better, but not a lot of overnight progress or things like that. Nothing really special was happening. And we were dealing with getting Medicaid approved. And that was really a hard process to get that approved and get everything taken care of with that. And when they finally did get it approved, they only covered back through August. So we're still working with the details on that. I've been in a long-term facility since March. First it was skilled nursing in that facility, but then we went from skilled to long-term. But in the last month, well, let me go back. In the first part of October, I was in the hospital. I was having low blood pressure and low oxygen levels. Pretty serious. Could have probably died during that time. And I don't remember any of that week, that 10 days that I was in the hospital, and even very little of the whole month of October. It was just, I lost most of that month in my memory. But during that 10 days, the only thing I can remember about it is I had a real vivid dream during that time. And sometime maybe I'll tell you more about the dreams, but I've never dreamed very much before, at least remembering. But starting in probably June or July, I started having really vivid dreams and detailed, and I would remember them, even to the point that I was waking up and still dreaming. And the only way I knew that my dream would just meld into my room and the things around me. The only reason I could tell if I was dreaming or not dreaming, if you remember the poster with the bulldog and the saying, you may see me struggle, but you'll never see me quit. If you remember that poster that I showed in one of my other videos, I had that hanging on my wall, and I would look up and I could see that poster. And if it was crooked on the wall, I knew that I was still dreaming, but I was coming out of the dream. And if it was straight on the wall, then I would know that I was out of the dream at that time. So it was a little hard to keep reality and the dream separated. I knew the difference, but the dreams were so real feeling that it was hard to determine that. There was one sequence of things that I thought my kids and grandkids had been killed in a car wreck or something. And it was so vivid, I knew it was a dream, but I had to call and do a wellness check on them to make sure they were all right, even though I knew in my mind that it was really just a dream. Another time I was going through a field with other people, and we were actually on our way to heaven, and I kept arguing with God that I wasn't ready to go yet, that I had things that I needed to take care of here, and I wanted to go to heaven, but I didn't. I wanted to wait. And so he turned around 2 times and started back toward the other side of the field, which would be going back to life. And both of those times he turned back and started back toward heaven with me. Then the third time I kept arguing and saying, no, I'm not ready to go, and I want to stay. And he turned around and took me back to the other direction and let me do that. Now, I'm not saying that was a death experience like a lot of people have, because I didn't see heaven, I didn't see golden streets and all of that. I didn't actually see God. I just knew that His presence was there, and that that's what we were doing, was going toward heaven. And then I went back toward life. I feel like it was more of a dream than an actual life-death experience. Anyway, that was the type of dreams that I was having at that time. And they would be really vivid, and some of it would be crazy stuff, and other things would make sense. There was always people I knew around me. Brenda was actually in some of them, but that was the type of thing that was going on in October, was those really vivid dreams. And actually they had started before that, but that one in October was really the one that it had a whole storyline and everything, and maybe sometime I'll get into that. But I'm doing really well now. I've had a lot of improvement in my movement in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Up until that point, my right and left side were gradually making improvement, but they were about even in strength and movement and things like that. In the last 3 to 4 weeks, my right side is just really taken off. I can flip my arm over, but I can flip my hand palm up and palm down on my right side. I still can't get very much height in my movement, but I can still move left and right and down with both my hands and feet, arms and legs, all of that. I have that movement in. Also, a few weeks ago, after October in the hospital, I went back to select rehab that I went to, one of the first ones I went to back last year, and went there for 3 or 4 weeks. They finally got me standing up so that I could see for myself that I really couldn't walk. Nobody had shown me that before that time, and in my mind I thought that I could just stand up and take off. I never had tried it. I was trying to be a good patient, but that was what my desire was to just stand up and see what I could do. And they finally did that for me, and I was able to stand on a tilt table and put weight on my feet, and I was able to stand up between them with them holding under my arms and holding me up that way, but my weight was all going down on my legs. They had to hold my knees in with their knee to keep them from buckling, but with them held in like that, I was actually putting weight on them and shifting my feet some. Where I'm at now, they're using a standing frame to pull me up. I had used one at Jim Thorpe. If you go back and look at some of the first videos, I had trouble standing up straight at Thorpe, but I'm able to keep my upper body straight up and go up to the table, the standing frame, and stand there. I can move up and down like crunches from my waist up and lean on the table and then back up. And I can shift weight on the legs back and forth, and even pull my knees in and out against the standing frame and feel the weight on my feet. So I'm feeling that's a big improvement just in the last few weeks. That's for a friend.
give us a wave. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So I can set down my hand.
Looking good.
One thing I wanted to mention before I finish the video today is about my positive attitude. Everybody keeps commenting about that, and to me it's not anything special because that's just how I am, that's how I've always been. But I've come up with an analogy that might help you better understand how I feel about things that happen to me. You know the saying about life gives you lemons. Well, my take on that is life gives me lemons, God makes the lemonade, and I serve the lemonade to others. I don't blame God for whatever life gives me. He's not giving that to me. It's life that gives me the bad situations or even the good situations. But God takes those situations and uses them for His glory. He turns them into lemonade. And He knows what's in the future. He knows what's going to happen to me. He knows if I'm going to walk or if I'm not going to walk. All of those things I don't have to worry about because they're in His hands, and I can trust Him and know that He's going to bring me through it, and He's going to make lemonade out of the lemons, and then He's going to give me the ability to serve the lemonade to those people that I'm around. A lot like Joseph in the Bible, life was giving him lemons. His brothers threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery, and they carted him off to Egypt, and he was in prison. But God used those circumstances through dreams and other things He was making lemonade in Joseph's life. He was taking what situation he was in and making the lemonade, and then Joseph was willing to serve the lemonade or the good things that God was doing through his life and bring blessings to the people around him and to his family and eventually the nation of Israel. God used all those lemons that he had in his life, made the lemonade, and then Joseph was obedient and served the lemonade to those that he was around, and all those great things came out of that. So that's my take on my positive attitude and how I feel about circumstances like that. One of the things you may have noticed is I've lost my mustache. I did that a couple of weeks ago. And the thing about the mustache was I had had that same mustache for 50-some years. I had not shaved it off since 1974. In May of 1974, I was graduating from college, and I was getting married in July that same year, and I wanted to grow it out for the wedding. I ended up having to use some of Brenda's mascara to fill in the lighter spots for the wedding. It eventually grew out after that, but I used her mascara to fill it in for the wedding. And I had not shaved it off since that time. I had kept it trimmed, but shaving the whole mustache off had not happened since May of 1974. So it was just over 50 years that I had it, almost 50 and a half years that I had the mustache. I don't know if that's any kind of a record or not. Probably not overall, but sure there's some other people that have longer than that. I do know that Tom Selleck didn't have his as long as I had mine. He still has his, but he's shaved it several times between then and now. One other major change happened this weekend. I was having trouble with the chin control that needed some adjustment on it, but I was going to have to wait until Monday to get it adjusted when the maintenance guy came here to the rehab center. Over the weekend, I had it laying in my lap on a tray, and I was able to hold it down with my left hand and use my right hand to control the chin ball control is what I had laying in my lap. And I could control it really well with my right hand and holding it down with my left. So when he came in Monday, we worked on getting that chin control converted over to a hand control on the wheelchair. I'm now able to use my right hand to control most of the functions in the chair with my right hand. I can't grip, but I can put the ball in the palm of my hand and work it like that type of a joystick and do everything that I need to do. I still have the control up here by my cheek, but all that does is the power on and off, and it also changes the mode from the drive screen to the menu where I can go in and make other settings and stuff. And once I get to the menu, I can use my hand from there on to make the seat adjustments. And then if I go back to the drive mode using the cheek, and back in the drive mode, I can use my hand to make the chair move forward and backward and side to side. So that's really exciting news for me that I'm able to do that now. I kind of self-promoted myself from the chin to the hand control because I felt like I was ready to do that, and I am doing well with it.